going to give all the shares, and they're just going to sit down, fold their arms, and just pick up royalties and tax revenue, which is very strange. Because if they had used the approach that countries such as Venezuela or even Gaddafi used, which is that in the case of Venezuela, a few years ago I spoke with a chargé d'affaires from the Venezuelan embassy who was in Aberdeen here for some meeting. And he said that, look, it doesn't matter where you come from, whether you are an American, whether you are a Saudi, whether you are Russian, whether you are a bunch of international investment conglomerates coming to negotiate oil deals in Venezuela. The only amount that is on discussion is 49%. 51% automatically goes to the Venezuelan state. So the only thing that they are going to discuss in terms of how much of the oil you're going to get out of the ground is only 49%. 51% automatically belongs to the Venezuelan state. In the case of Gaddafi, as you probably know, when he got into power, his is 70%. You are only negotiating 30%. 70% automatically belongs to the Libyan state. Your negotiation, it doesn't matter whether it's going to cost you $1 billion to get the oil out of the ground. It's only limited to the 30%. And that is why the government will discuss with you. So you may end up getting 50% or you may end up getting 20 out of the 30%. But that 70% out of the oil out of the ground, that belongs to the Libyan state. We didn't do that. So what we are even left with in terms of our oil fields is not even significant for us to use that as one of the measures that we can apply to get ourselves out of the mess. Strictly speaking, our situation is dire. Now, if I want to take you a little bit back, this is the problem that Argentina has had over the last 20 years. And every now and then, as you probably will remember, as you cover some of these stories, some bank or some courts in the U.S. will take an action where an Argentinian government-owned ship or maybe sometimes even aircraft, will
be confiscated.
Moving out of a dry dock somewhere in the States or something, because some company or some international bank that they owe money and they can't pay wants to take control over that asset and basically recover some of their investment. That is where we are getting to, because these loans that we have taken are not necessarily loans in the last maybe 10-15 years with all these stuff about Eurobond. These are not necessarily loans that are coming from other nations. These are loans that are coming from private banks. So it could be HSBC, it could be Barclays, it could be an investment house in London. Now, they don't have the capacity to wait forever for you to pay for these sums of money. So they will start going around. And if it's a big mission that we have in Berlin, because we only own the building, we don't own the land. For international relation purposes, you can't own the land as a state of another country. They may take over the property. If we don't decide to sell the property, scale down the size of these machines and maybe release some of the funds from it and give it to these investment houses that have invested in our country in the many Euro bonds that we have issued. But unfortunately, our options are very limited. And since the government is reluctant to reduce its size and all these, let's be honest, waste of money, so-called social intervention programs such as planting for forestry or shoe shine boys or whoever else they keep employing, all these sums of money that are literally being thrown at people, for them to get something coming in, maybe because they finish university or they finish training colleges for a good number of years and they don't have jobs. If they don't want to roll back or scale back on some of these things, then frankly, this is the next step. Because if you are the investment advisor for the Prudential and you've invested money in Ghana, you can't keep going back to your shareholders and tell them that, look, we are still trying to negotiate a deal with the Ghanaian government. The people whose money you are investing, they aren't stupid. They read the newspapers. They know countries that are in dire straits. They won't have time for you. So at some point in time, they've got to make a move. And the move that they will make is that, look, if you own a big building in Ghana and you are accommodating Ghanaian, embassy staff, you probably will move in and ask the court to get you those assets. It's sad, but that's where we are, because frankly there's nothing more. I mean, the other option is maybe we'll give out our harbors, maybe Tema Harbor or something, or the revenues that come from Tema Harbor. Some of it will have to go and free off some of these debts. I don't know, because if they decide to do that, that's also going to have significant problems for government cash inflows, because it's one of the main places that government gets money, even though there's a lot of corruption at the port, but it's one of the main places that government gets money. And of course, as you probably will know, there's been huge investments made at most of our ports. I don't know what the financing framework was, but I guess it probably would have gone along the same way, just as Frank explained, that these state-owned organizations that are making enough money possibly use their balance sheet in acquiring the funding to make this expansion. So possibly it's likely to be the case that even the revenues that are coming to these ports are already tied up to a certain financial framework, which is going to be used to pay off some of the loans that they've taken to expand these ports. So our situation is very tight. The solutions are not easy to come by. Frankly, just like our currency is not far away from the Sri Lankan rupee, our economy is not that also far away from the dilemma that Sri Lanka finds itself.
Wow, interesting. Listeners, Starr Radio UK, Felix all the way in Aberdeen. Yes, Felix, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Hello, Felix? Hello, Felix?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me? Okay. Felix's line is dropped. He will call back. Now, Frank, it's quite dire, the whole situation. My question is, we have the former, against a ranking member of parliament, Dr. Kesela Tuforsen, who is saying that Ghana cannot avoid debt restructuring currently, and with what Felix have been saying so far, enumerating few areas that we could, but assuming whatever is going on already, you said that there were institutions that were supposed to have gone to take loans by themselves. That's how the NDC government set it out. Now, assuming these companies have also got loans, now which other way can we cut it? Can we make sure that we
government must stop taking money, siphoning money from some of this, doing stupid stuff with them? You take GMPC for instance. One business has GMPC got to be giving money to Ochihini and Rebecca Foundation.
Well, were they drilling oil from there or drilling gas from there?
They were drilling politics. Are you getting me? What I've heard happening, and it's going to happen, the option of redenomination where they can print money is not available to them. That's one option that is being considered, but they're trying to also do a local restructuring where those who hold treasury bills, local bonds, local bonds will forgo 1/3 or 2/3 of that.
I think yesterday, not to cut you, I heard that yesterday the treasury bill dipped as well.
Actually, if anyone is listening to me and you have holdings in treasury bills, sacrifice the next 90 days. Go withdraw it and put it in your bank account.
Wow.
Actually, as we speak, some banks are on the verge of collapse.
Again, apart from the ones that were
what they did were cleaning up or whatever was a political vindictiveness that they did. Just to basically twist and hold, destroy people's businesses, right? It doesn't make sense. But actually, as we speak now, I've always been saying that Ghanaian banks, and for me, I'm happy for one thing. I've always maintained this position that Ghanaian banks are glorified susu collectors. You heard me use that word?
Yeah, you have.
Where it come to a point where now the susu collector is going to survive, because the collector susu from the individuals go and put it in government treasury, they sit back and call themselves banks. And then basically take interest. So they give you 20% interest and they make 10% interest.
Yeah, that's what they do.
That is what they do. That's why I've always referred to them as glorified susu collectors. They are not banks. Actually, they are not banks. Most of them are not banks. They are susu collectors. Because if they are banks, banks assume certain level of risk.
Yeah.
Banks will be able to look at projects that are going on and be able to fund individuals. They will be able to pump money into expansion of businesses. That's how they have to generate wealth. But the banks in Ghana are almost or always interested in the secure government treasury bills. Susu collectors. That's what they do. And now we go to a point where most of them, if you don't take time, because if citizens now go to the banks demanding their money,
the banks will collapse.
And government, as part of the restructuring that they are considering, you have to, they want debt forgiveness from the locals first.
How?
That is what it means. You are asking how.
The locals, they don't have the money. You people collapse the banks saying that they didn't have
the banks, because the banks invested on your behalf. Pension funds invested, and therefore from pension funds to Access Bank to all these banks are now going to take a hit. And that is why a few months ago, 2 months ago, you heard about 3 banks in Ghana were downgraded. Why? Because they are overexposed to government instruments.
Wow.
Archie, the situation we find ourselves in, Archie, look, government needs to cut its expenditure. That's number one.
Okay, yeah. And how will they cut it?
Archie, the 2,000 decent staff that we have in this, what are they doing? And the president, what are they doing? Why should, look, if I am Akufo-Addo, the first thing I will do is to address the nation. Be able to admit that, look, we are in difficulty without mentioning Ukraine, without mentioning COVID, because actually it is becoming, how do I put it, a one person.
EFPSing.
He went to work, we went to UN again, was every bullet, every dissing that, every bomb that hits Ukraine hits your pocket.
Yeah.
Hello? What trade relationship do we have with Ukraine?
Oil.
Really?
Oil. Energy prices. But somebody will say, listening to us and looking at even what is happening even here in an advanced economy, I mean, looking at the challenges that we're all going through, and said that, well, it's an a worldwide issue that is going on. So that's why you were saying that.
You are a pastor. The Bible has solutions for everything. It said, when I build the song says what? I build my house on a solid rock.
Yeah.
When the time the wind and the waves stand,
we were able to stand. Yeah.
Be able to stand. What solid rock were we building our economy?
On the sand one, the sandy one. So
even if we were standing, I think it was what I call it. What do you put water in, it melts away?
Oh, ice.
It was ice.
So it's melted away now. We're not standing on it.
Actually, it was not even sand. If it is sampled, when you put blocks now,
to stop it from eroding away,
it is ice. So whether we block it or not, the thing behind the system is getting. Look, actually, there are drastic actions that they might have to take. They might have to first look at what can be done with political power in terms of legislation. You see, you need to send signals. There's no money anywhere that you're going to carry in sacks. You need to be able to send signals that will basically begin to stimulate confidence back into the economy, so that if I have my money in Ghana and I'm taking it out, I have confidence that the economy is not going to collapse, and therefore I leave it. That is number one. And that is in the hands of the president.
Okay.
Fire the minister, collapse our ministries and shrink them, reduce the staff, be able to tell people the truth that, look, we've accepted, we've made certain mistakes, now we are facing it, we're taking the problem head on. My convoy, for instance, is going to be cut down to 3. Let people see, let people feel, let people hear that the difficulty and the pain they are going through, what they can see. Your rounded glass are also not overlooking it, but you can also see it. If the president can do that, actually, it will bounce back confident. Because actually, the first thing we need is confidence. We don't know how there's well, Felix home in Ghana.
Oh, in Ghana.
Doesn't have dollar store that we're going to open and get
dollars from there.
Confidence, so that if Felix is doing a project, he has confidence today to be able to continue that project.
Yeah.
You have confidence to be able, if he has a bit of dollars, to be able to live in there. But I bet you, if I had dollars today, I close my account.
I'll take it out. Because with what is going on, he's gonna have tomorrow. I want to go catch it, and then they said I can't have access to it.
Government, instead of doing that, is interested in saying, "Oh, it's opposition." Everything. How many times did they tell us that it's opposition? Let me read something to you. You know, okay. This is coming from Suhini. You address the media at the airport and claim you secured 15 billion US dollars, and that there was a possibility that within the next month or so you were going to conclude additional $4 billion discussion to add. That was going to be 9 billion. And this Bao Miao, you recall when he returned from China. That's in the hydro listen. Where is the penny from the 15 billion that the news media talked about? Later you came with another phantom financial arrangement called Sinohydro 2 billion deal. Not sure if from the 15 billion or the 4 billion you announced earlier, according to you, this was so novel that it wasn't going to impact our debt. That's what they were doing, trying to go outside. Okay, that's exactly where we call you a dreamer. And the IMF recent negotiation demanding an inclusion of that transaction to our loans portfolio within your government team has agreed, which your government team has agreed to, is our vindication and your shame. Of course, without explanation, apology or humility, 2 billion shrunk into 640 million of 10 projects Parliament approved, and out of the 640 million, less than 200 million has so far been dispersed for the 10 projects. So the question is, I ask, why are the Chinese not cooperating and helping? Because there's no confidence, and it's because of political actions that actors like Gabi actively oversaw, implemented to destroy businesses. Whatever it is, those Chinese that came at those times had relationships. You came in, you took power, instead of consolidating the gains that have been made, then taking out what is wasteful, you just came, use bulldozers, political bulldozer, to bulldoze everything out of your way because you want to make money from them. Now they are pulling back and staying back. This is what has gotten us to.
Well, so what do you think we can do? I mean, that's a question that has been posed. Felix has brought some suggestions as to what to be done. Frank has also brought some. But if you are listening to what do you think is the way forward for Ghanaians at all? Now, it is going on 13 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's come straight to one story from the West here, and then we will look at the UK as well, because things are happening. We'll be having Keir Starmer making a statement today. He thinks that maybe by quoting Tony Blair, everybody will think, yes, new Labour. But do you think that is going to work for them? Okay, now Putin is poised. It's likely to announce the annexation of occupied regions of Ukraine into Russia within days, the UK Defense Ministry is saying. We know, I mean, they're going for this the referendum to all that. That was part of it. But do you think it's setting a bad precedent? Because should Nigeria tomorrow decide that maybe some oil well around Benin, it's like that, or they are misbehaving, and therefore like Benin was actually doing, allowing products like importation to come through their borders into Nigeria, and decide we have annexed that place, and then say, okay, we've done the referendum, the people say they want to be part of us. Can you now go and tell Nigeria, stop that?
Actually, I think it should not be the best thing to look at the two are the same, because look, we can have apple, mangoes, and other things. We can have a lot of fruits, but not all fruit produce juice. Not all fruits produce juice. You see, actually, the Russian situation, we shouldn't run away from the threat Russia also faced. I'm not saying Putin should continue to attack or annex the places, but actually again, Russia has gone through phases, and even Ukraine has gone through phases. Ukraine was not Ukraine. Ukraine was not Ukraine, and part of those areas were still part of USSR. And they broke up, they broke away, right? Actually, if we have a people, okay, let me take it. Let's assume we have voter region, part of voter region. I see people being maltreated. I'm not justifying Russia's actions, but people will act and will respond. What are their demands? What are the demands of? Could we have avoided the war? We should not sound as if there were no demands.
Yeah.
We shouldn't sound as if there were no precursors to whatever is happening. Is that why someone telling you, Mugabe instituted for land reform? We shouldn't sound like that, because at the end of the day, we will not be doing justice to history. That there were agreements, including the landmark Lancaster Agreement, that was not honored by Britain.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? So, in my view, Russia now sees itself as doing everything possible to be able to defend itself. If annexing an area to extend a kind of a buffer corridor to Moscow, which is what exactly he's doing, to create a buffer corridor to Moscow, he will do it. Is there a way out? I do believe there's a way out. Can we dialogue? Why is the dialogue not? The world, the UK, this are not interested. They are not interested. If Russia says, okay, I'm pulling my
forces out of
everything today, will the US, UK continue to deploy arms and still continue their threat to absorb Ukraine into NATO? Because the law that established NATO, that relationship states that if anything drop on NATO soil, it constitutes an aggression,
on the whole,
So were they setting Ukraine up so that there could be anything drop over there, and then the whole NATO would descend on Russia? Preemptive strike. Let me annex some place so that when they attack, I know they have attacked. Actually, the way forward is to be able to understand that what we agreed years before should come. And I thank God that the Secretary General of NATO and the advisors or the team around Zelensky, the survey they conducted and the report they co-authored or again suggested that Ukraine should not be absorbed into NATO. It should be used as a buffer zone, but instead the West should look at arming it. Could we have even avoided the arming it? Could we have avoided the threat of absorbing into NATO? Actually, if Russia has not acted when it did, what would have been the situation today?
But somebody will tell you that Russia has got deterrent, nuclear deterrent, and nobody would dare say they want to attack Russia. They would, because if you do it, they can wherever they can reach every part of the world, corner of the earth. So why worry?
Then people who were pushing for NATO to absorb what they call Ukraine should have known that. I know I'm the only one in a million, but at the end of the day, my mind tells me that we got it wrong in the West. My mind tells me that we pushed too far. My mind tells me that the comedian we put in place was not doing our bidding without logically thinking of the consequences to his people. He is alive. Thousands have died. Could we have avoided that? What is the end? What is the end apart from our quest to expand our kind of democracy, capitalism to cover all parts of the world? A crusade. A capitalism crusade. Is that what we're on?
Maybe like in the past when they had all those crusaders going around and taking over places. But
NATO has become a crusader. Organization, a crusading organization. In my view, that's what they've become. They've become a crusading organization. That's what they are.
Looking at, how we've gone so far. Do you still think there can be a way back?
I think there's a way back. I think there's a way back, but people have to be genuine about their intention, and people have to agree that, look, we do not sign an agreement today and tomorrow come and tell us, oh, Ukraine is a sovereign state. No.
What makes a state a sovereign state? You brought that in because that's one thing I've been pondering about all the time. I say, okay, what makes a state a sovereign state? If the UN agree that this state has to be, and the neighboring countries agree that it's a country on its own, who dare say that it's not a sovereign state? Why do you come to the take place for that?
It's a sovereign state once it's recognized by all as a sovereign state, because they govern their laws, they let their person. Although Kofi Ali will argue that a lot of Akufo-Addo-led countries are not sovereign because honestly, I agree with him, because if they are sovereign, they will not be blaming Ukraine. That because of Ukraine they are hungry. Because of Ukraine they can't do that. It means they are not sovereign.
They are dependent on others to
that is where they are.
Yeah.
That is where they are. So a sovereign state, in my view, although it's a legal construct, it's a nation that is able to govern itself. That's simply they take our responsibility, they govern themselves, they let their own leaders, not the kind of leaders we have who are then interested in squandering people's money and then depending on others. That's the kind of a state I call sovereign state. Yes, Ukraine is a sovereign state, but no man is an island. The same principle works, that no country is an island. We all need each other. That's why you can see even the US, the European Union, and the Britain have not even come to form another group to unleash on Africa, going to flourish. I call them, they are kind of trying to basically look for minerals, sign agreements, and that's why at the side table of UN you saw them organize a press or a meeting, a special meeting for African countries they claim were rich in mineral resources. Because of our galamsey, we were not included.
Really?
Oh yes. Congo, Angola, Mozambique, and others were involved, but Ghana was not invited because of our galamsey.
Oh, we got so much gold everywhere. We are taking our houses. Somebody's house underneath you, we dig it. We get gold.
You don't know what to use it for. You don't know what to use it for. You don't know how to even mine it. Your galamsey is not in the hands of Chinese. Your galamsey is not profiting you. So you don't have it. Look, we don't have it. Do we have a proper channel where they do galamsey sell their gold?
No.
How do you expect to profit from it?
Well, listeners, it is now 3 minutes. We have to just run up. But a quick one from Keir Starmer's page today. That is going to be making. I'm looking at the Chancellor of the Exchequer's pronouncement or mini budget statement that they did present last Friday, and the fact that after that, people were thinking that because before then we had the governor of the Bank of England raising interest rates, and then with that coming through, we thought that would give the confidence in the economy, so that the pound will be, the value was, and then it started nose diving, like Ghana City.
Again, confidence in the economy. Confidence in the economy. That's exactly what it means. And for me, I was sad. I was sad that it went the way it went. But it's the markets will always. Archie, you want to grow, but you have announced huge borrowings. And you have not put in place a concrete plan how you're going to pay back. What do you want the markets to say? That's exactly what happened. It's sad, but actually that's exactly what happened. You can't do anything about it. For the first time, what do you call it? The pound went below the euro. dollar came all the way hey, guys in the US, bring me something, man.
Yeah, now if you get us some money, it's good here.
Give us some money.
Now we have Keir Starmer who's going to make a speech. I mean, he's just trying to position Labour. They are calling themselves government in waiting, blah blah blah. Do you think they can actually, because I'm looking at what happened in Obama's time when he took over the reins. Now that time the economy was in tatters, so he has now had to come in and put things together for Trump to now come and say yes, make America great. So they have got the platform to build on.
Akufado's after they've stabilized the economy, 2017, 2018, economy grew by 7. What did you do?
Because somebody's worked on it. And looking at where we find ourselves now, I don't think that if Labour should come in, I mean, unless of course by some miracle they are able to stay in power for maybe 20 years, so that they would have put things together nicely, and then so that we are building.
Confidence is key. I mean, confidence is key. I mean, the fear that the market had was reckless borrowing that probably Labour would do. But actually, what is the difference between Labour government
and the new Conservative?
Besides, the Labour government will not go on cutting taxes for the rich.
No.
Believing that trickle down economy. Prior to the announcement, 2 days before the announcement, the US president had gone that, look, I don't believe in trickle down economy. It has never worked. And actually, evidence that it has never ever worked. After you transact this into it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And that's exactly what the only good thing that they announced over there that I say, in my view, well, energy bills are being capped a little bit. Look at the zones, the free zones that they are coming out.
I
think that's a good policy. That's a good policy to stimulate growth in certain areas. Well, you wouldn't call it's not because Boris Johnson was doing it, but focusing on the north, where is leveling up, the focus on the north. These people want to spread it, but the danger again is, if I'm a business and making a huge profit, I cannot decide to choose and pick where I locate and avoid tax.
Of course.
So what you've done is that you've given free run for businesses without spelling out the criteria. Are they going to be new businesses? Are they going to be having certain level of capital before they start paying tax? Are you getting me? The markets will now have a look at you are borrowing. The businesses and the individual that you have to collect tax from to be able to pay off this debt, you are again increasing their borrow. So if you have if you're in a sort of 150,000 pounds, the announcement that he made you richer by 12,000
straight,
because your tax bill was cut by 12,000. That's the arrangement he made. But that 12,000, assuming 600,000 rich people, actually if you multiply tax, I mean that's the minimum. If you take it that people on 150 have been saved 12,000, then people on 1 million amount and 1 million a year have been saved huge sums of money. Are you getting me? So that alone could have racked in billions of this thing. Could you have done this without necessarily cutting the tax at the top? I think he could have done it and it would have come out very, very nice. It would have come out very, very nice. But if you are reducing the tax element for the majority, scrapping the NHS increment, where are you going to bring the shortfall? Could you have maintained that to use that money to pay off them? That will tell the markets that probably you try to balance it. I mean, but this actually, you know what? No, you know,
it's a shame that's the first Chancellor of the Exchequer, and I mean,
he's our brother.
He's our brother. But do you think last one? Our time is up. Liz Truss. Do you think she will last? Because we have the backbenchers. We have backbenchers.
In the next 6 months, God, I predict it might not even last the 6 months. I'm telling you. Because look, if you come out with your made a statement, and within the party itself, people do not accept it. That's a danger. If she lasts 6 months,
God will go far.
Then God is with them.
Okay, listeners, we have to bring the program to a close as we say. Yes, sir. Yes. Tomorrow, God willing, we're going to be coming your way with another edition of the morning show. I will be bringing you more on the front of BB Means Business. As I've said, yes, BB Clement will be bringing you BB Means Business. It comes your way every Tuesday at 1:30. Okay, but there's going to be lots of music as well. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. But friend, before we go,
Archie, let's have a great afternoon. Let's pray for prayer will not work for Ghana as we speak. I know there was a time Akufo-Addo asked us to pray, but this time prayer is not work. I mean, they have to act and be responsible, and the government have to admit the truth. They have failed the people.
They have failed the people. Well, maybe the National Cathedral, we all go there. If my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and call upon me, I will heal their land. That is their belief. But what do you think? Well. All right, let me say thank you very much for every one of you who tuned in today, and apologies Felix for the drop on the line as well, and as many of you who have listened to us today. Thank you. Enjoy this song from the Zongo Man. He is asking where is the dollar, because we know that now dollar is strong, Gabi. So where is the dollar? I need some in my pocket. Alright then, so when that song ends and you don't hear from me, it's been me, Archie, Mr. Frank Davids, and all those wonderful people who joined us today, saying have a top of the day. Bye bye for now.
The dollar